Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is FPV Wine and today I'm going to be taking you through the Radiomaster Pocket and how to clean the gimbals. Now I was having a little bit of problems where I didn't even realise I was flying and it was a couple of my drones were making a strange whooshing noise when I was flying, but didn't seem to be causing me too many problems. And this is why you should always make sure you're practicing in the simulator with your controller that you use, because I was practicing in the simulator and I noticed that the left gimbal, when I was going up and down like this, it was giving me left and right signals kind of in the middle area. And that was actually what was happening when I was flying without realizing, is that I was accelerating and it was doing little jarring movements left and right, which I hadn't even managed to, because it was only microscopic, hadn't actually managed to pick up. But in the simulator it was a lot worse and it was exacerbated. I'm going to show you how I did this twice. I'm going to show you how to clean your Hall gimbals on your controller. Now I'm not saying this is a tutorial, but this is how I fix mine, so T's and C's, don't try this at home, kids, but this is what helped me. So the first things first with these controllers is you peel off the back, which is nice and easy to access. You're gonna need a T8 screwdriver, hex head, whatever. Not this one actually, this one's actually wrong, but we'll ignore that. You're gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver for the Hall gimbals. For some reason they are Phillips, and I use, to clean the heads of the Hall sensors, I use a cotton buds, and then you need some very important, I'm starting to run out, I might need to get some more, isopropanol cleaning fluid. This one's the AF IsoClean. IsoClean. So you spray that onto the end of the cotton bud and give it a little clean. First things first, you need to take apart your Radiomaster Pocket. So you just pop the backs off like this. I would also take the batteries out, nice and easy, make sure it's not on. And then in the back here, we have 4 T8s. So there's one here, one down the bottom here, and the same the other side. Take your T8 and unscrew all 4. Once you've unscrewed all 4, I always thought you had to peel these off, but you can actually keep these ones on. You just pop it up like that. But what you have to be careful of right now is there is a connection just there. And you've got to make sure that you just take it off like this. Now, I'm sure someone in the comments can let us know, but there's one that's connected to the controller and the other one that is connected to the battery pack. Now, I'm not sure which one's easiest. I'm going to unplug from the battery pack, which actually wasn't plugged in properly anyway. And then we can move this one out the way. We don't need this one at the moment. The battery pack can move out the way. We have the controller, the back of the controller, the electronics. This part, if you've been using it at the beach, somewhere muddy, somewhere dusty, then I would just inspect around your controller. So there is 4 Hall gimbals in your controller, and they are this one here, this one here, this one here, and this one here. And the 2 that were causing me grief are the 2 over here. My throttle one, as you can see, why is that? My throttle one here, and it was actually this one that was causing me grief. Now this is where you'll need your I've got a jeweler's Phillips screwdriver, very small one, because the screws on this are very small. And you want to be super careful. There is a plastic part in between that you don't want to, one, lose, and also you don't want to lose the screws. It's always good to have like a little cup holder or something on your desk. And there is also glue around the Phillips heads, so you've got to be super careful with that. On the back of the gimbal sensor you have this little bit of plastic, the other way around. That little bit of plastic, that comes off. You've got to be real careful with that, so make sure you don't lose this one. Now the fun part. You want to take your alcohol, 99, I think it's 99% or 90% isopropanol alcohol. You want to take this and you want to spray lightly, if you can, the end of the tip, like so. Can we do this on camera? Like that. So you've got a little smidgen of isopropanol alcohol. So a part I'm missing out right now, which I didn't do, haven't got, but I've seen people in numerous FPV channels, compressed air. So bit of compressed air. If you've got dust, sand, grit, dirt in there, give it a bit of compressed air, get rid of all that stuff. And now we're on to the fun bit. Here are the sensors, where the sensors go to the electronics, and this is where I had goop and gunk and bits of dust and stuff in. So you just want to get very lightly in there and just wipe it down a little bit with your cotton bud. Just give it a little wipe. That should be, in theory, clean. I had a little bit of, I don't even know what it is. I don't know if you can see it. There's some sort of like white gubbins on the bottom, which I had glue or something, which I had to peel away. And I gave it a little wipe like that. And also moved it left and right. And now that should be fairly clean. The other one that you might want to do is clean the other side of the sensor, making sure there's no dirt on there. Very lightly, very lightly. Just make sure that that's clean as well. And now we have to just reverse what we've just done. So I've got to get that little bit of plastic. This is going to be quite difficult. I take the screws that you haven't lost in the carpet because they are tiny. We'll do one at a time. I've put the screws through. The screws are through, like so. And then I'm going to take the plastic bit and put the plastic bit over the screws, which is going to be difficult to show on camera. So plastic bit, you want to make sure you get this bit the right way around. So you want on the plastic bit, the gimbal sensor is on the inside. So it should look something like this. And then this curvature bit needs to go on the inside. Need the Phillips screwdriver. I reverse screw to get that first initial join. Quick note here is I've done this twice. The first time we did it, the issue came back worse, which was annoying, and I think it was my fault in not cleaning it correctly. Second time I pulled it apart was because I was flying and it was doing really crazy things. I'd calibrated it, and what I'd found is I'd gone through and I'd cleaned both the axis gimbals, and what I'd found is that I'd stupidly forgotten to tighten the accelerator gimbal, and it was just not giving me a zero, and I had a huge dead band between the bottom and the top of the stick. So very dangerous. So it's something to always take on board. They're now in nice and tight. Screws on the inside. I always like to just double check to make sure there's no wiggle, because now after last time there was wiggle. Took it off and it was really loose, and that means that it will give you incorrect readings. Now it's just the reverse of what you've just done. Maybe a little bit more compressed air, and then we take the backside of the controller and plug back in the battery pack, which is always a fun time here. I like to match the bottoms up, and then you've got to be super careful, which is really fun to try and do on camera. Make sure that you've got the pins on the right side of the plug. You don't want to bend all those pins. I've done that one before. You've got it the wrong way around, you force it and you break all the pins. These controllers aren't cheap. You want to make sure that's back on. The other one I want to do is make sure the cables are out the way, because they can catch on things, and that's also irritating. So back together it goes. And then it's just the reverse. So get your T8, 4 screws again.
Yo.
Strongly recommend not over tightening them. Batteries back in. And there's 2 very important parts to this now to do. So obviously get these ones back on flush, which is the first thing, and it always takes me an hour because they are very fiddly. We've done one. So difficult. Just pushing in the sides now just to make sure. Okay, it's feeling good. First thing is to test how it feels. The second thing you want to do,
throttle warning.
You want to go in and calibrate it. So it is in the system menu, and we want to go across, cross, 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 calibrate. Enter, and then it says set axis midpoint, which is what I wanted to do really. And then it says move axis around, so you just move your axis around. And then back to the center and escape, and now all good. The final tip I strongly recommend is to take your controller, plug it into your computer and get on a sim and just fly around and make sure that the calibration is working all okay, because that is something that I hadn't even realized I was having a problem flying. And then I was in the simulator, and then I clocked that in the simulator it seems to be a lot more sensitive. I could see that there was a problem, and that helped me in my actual IRL, in real life flying. So get yourself in a simulator, get it tested, and away you go. I hope that helped. If it did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Go flying.
Yo,